guess what? Positive thinking can heal you of any disease. Negative thinking can create any disease. It can even kill you.
He is absolutely right. Hi, everyone. I'm Sally Knopf. This is Dr. Bruce Lipton. He's a scientist, and he's on Dr. Mark Hyman, MD. He has, it looks like the doctor's pharmacy. It's a great channel. I recommend everybody who hasn't logged into that, maybe check it out. In this particular video, Dr. Bruce Lipton talks about how he has, over the years, studied and has scientific evidence on how our beliefs, our thoughts, our emotions create emotional patterns that imprint our cells. And those are the parts of us that create illness. So when people say, oh, it was this or it was that made me ill, his argument, and he has scientific proof of it now, you start by watching the video, and the link will be in the description box below for you to watch, where he takes you through how he has discovered that thoughts combined with the emotions, creating the belief systems, will imprint the genes, and that is what will make you sick or well. Now, isn't it interesting how most of us will gravitate toward the negative? And it seems like we might have a bad day. And something as innocuous of just things not going right can cascade into a full-blown, oh my God, the sky is falling, to where it creates a belief system where we suddenly find ourselves in constant negative thinking. Now, he argues, and I can say there's other doctors that are actually coming forward saying the same thing, that the power to positive thinking can actually heal you no matter where you are, no matter how far down the rabbit hole you've gone, it can be turned. As a QHHT practitioner under Dolores Cannon and Dr. Bradley Nelson, I began to merge the two modalities together. Plus, there's been some other mixes there that we begin to address that very start of what causes illness. The way you are thinking can create an emotion that, if it's not dealt with, will become stuck in our bodies. And we can actually carry it on, crossing over to the other side. And we can pass it down genetically from our bodies to our descendants. Now, Dr. Bradley Nelson would call that a miasm. Now, there are plenty of ways to address this. There's a lot of modalities that we can look at. But the point is, no matter where you are, no matter how sick you are, if you are still breathing, then there is hope. I have worked with people who have had end-stage pancreatic cancer, who, when we go through removing trapped emotional energies, can actually help their bodies balance and heal themselves. It's not like Sally has any special juju. I don't. But what I do have is a skill set developed over 7 years. Again, combining Dr. Brad with Dolores Cannon and a few others. The point is, you don't have to stay where you are, no matter where you are on the spectrum. If you're just beginning to think negatively, or if you're moving forward and you're in a full-blown meltdown, the sky is falling and I'm really sick because of it. So, he argues that people don't necessarily have a cancer gene, for example. They don't have the gene for X. It is actually developed through the belief system that they have it, that they're going to get it. So there have been several people that have come forward with those personal experiences. And I can back it up. So Dr. Bruce Lipton is one beautiful resource that I encourage you to watch the video in the description box below. The link will be there for you to get through, so you have a better understanding that how important important your thoughts and your emotions are that can direct your life, not only physically, but also in how you manifest what type of future you create for yourself. Now, let's step through this just a little bit and how I see what he is talking about in this video through my eyes as a QHHT practitioner and an emotion code practitioner, all balled up into one remote energy healing practitioner, whatever you want to call me. And I will give you what I see and how I can give you some suggestions to get you turned around. So, for one, we now understand through many people, Bruce is one of them. Anita Morjani is another person that you might want to look at. She wrote a book called Dying to Be Me. She writes in her book, at the bottom line is fear of getting sick, fear of getting cancer is what created her cancer. And if you circle back to this video, that's exactly what Bruce Lipton is talking about. So all these thoughts create emotions, and that creates a belief system that imprints itself on the gene. Now, where Dr. Bruce goes a little bit, in my mind, maybe not far enough, but he's a scientist and that's okay. The fact that we got some of this out is amazing. I work in the mind, the body, and the spirit complex. That means sometimes this information that is imprinted on our cellular energy is more than just coming from the mind and imprinted into the physical body. It also be in the spirit complex. And we talk about that in other videos. For example, there was one small child that had severe garlic allergies. And they couldn't find the garlic allergies anywhere in his physical body. When I told the mother he had garlic allergies, I got pushback. But I said, yeah, take the garlic away and see what happens. Turns out the child had garlic allergies, but it wasn't stored in the body. Heck, it wasn't even created in the mind. He was just a little kid. But it was in the spirit complex. And Dr. Brad talks about that a little bit. So let me kind of marry the two here for a little bit more clarity between what Dr. Brad is talking about and what Dr. Bruce Lipton is talking about. Bruce is explaining how our thoughts and our emotions and our belief systems imprint the gene. A little bit later, he talks about how we can actually correct that through our own minds by getting into a deeper relaxed state, usually the theta state. And at the end of the video, I'll give you some tips on how to clear that using the theta. But for now, Dr. Brad talks about how, and let me do a quick screen share here for you. And we'll get into that right now. Dr. Brad marries this a little bit with what Dr. Lipton's talking about in this video. Dr. Lipton will say how sometimes the gene expression can actually get through into our children based on basically it comes down to frequency and vibration, and these emotional energies are a frequency, and it can imprint on the mother or even pass down through the father into the baby that the mother carries. And I think we used to talk about many years ago, keep the mother calm and the mother happy so we have happy babies. So many years ago, I mean, even over 100 years ago, they were talking about keep the mom calm so we have a happier baby. They knew without knowing why the baby was coming out stressed or non-stressed based on the parent's emotions. And so, yes, some of that can be impressive. If your genes are being imprinted, some of that frequency can sneak through and impress it when the mother is carrying the child. This is what Dr. Bruce talks about. Now, Dr. Bradley Nelson, where he goes a little bit further in explaining, is right here. He calls it a miasm. And so this miasm, I guess it's not going to clear that up a little bit, but all right. So basically, he talks about, let me make it smaller. Maybe you can read it there. I'm not very savvy at this. Sorry about that. So the miasm is an inherited distortion of energy from the suppressed disease that occurred during an ancestor's life. So yeah, we do talk about that quite a bit. That is something that can actually be passed down through stream of energy through a frequency. You have to think of it like maybe some fiber optics, and it has many strands through it, and this can actually stream in and affect us. And maybe that's why the mother, is a little bit stressed, and maybe she may not know why she's stressed. Maybe she had a perfect childhood, and yet she's carrying some anxiety, and your baby comes out anxiety ridden, and it can be a cause of this. Now, it is a little bit two different lines of thinking, but it is so interesting because it does show us this, that our thoughts and our emotions can affect how we feel and if we are sick or if we are well. Now, Dr. Lipton talks about how our belief systems can impress the genes, and that is very true. The belief systems are programs. If you are programmed from a very early on stage, say from a small child, there is scientific evidence that between the ages of from the time they're prenatal to the time they're 7 years old, whatever is going on in their environment is creating a program. There is an old saying out there, not sure who says it, but the old saying is, give me the child up to the age of 7 and I will give you the man. And that is true because that is the most impressionable time of our lives. Because up until that point, science has shown that children are in a theta state. They are very impressionable, and that is where the programming comes in. This is why it is so hard for people who grow up in certain strict belief systems to sort of come out of it because they are unconsciously programmed with a certain set of belief systems that can carry them through life. Now imagine if you're growing up with somebody who's very negative, and you might see the world through a lens of half empty. Conversely, say you are a small child and you are growing up with somebody who's very positive. You might come through and see life as opportunities and a glass half full. And so when you are in the half glass empty camp and you're trying to get to the glass half full camp, it can be exceedingly hard. Now, Dr. Bruce Lipton goes on to say how those belief systems imprint our genes, and that is what causes us to be ill. But the good news is it can be changed. You are not victims. You might feel you're a victim, but you don't have to live as a victim. You have the power to change it if it is what you desire. So with what I do, and if you're not coming to me, come to somebody like me. Find your QHHT practitioner. Go to an emotion code practitioner, but come to somebody so we can start helping you get rid of trapped emotional energy that begins to imprint the genes, get that cleared out, either through the deep hypnosis or doing remote energy clearing, which is what I do now, so we can get that done pretty quick versus spending 6 hours in the process. Either way, you got to pick your modality. You'll know what was right for you. We get those energies cleared out. Then the next step is we focus on how do you think? You have to become aware of your thoughts. That is the first step. And my recommendation to you is put on a rubber band around your wrist, and every time you have a negative thought, you flip that rubber band, restate that thought to a positive thought, and state it out loud 3 times. You are in the process of reprogramming your mind. Also, the other thing that's important, if you begin to think negatively, once you start to catch on that, oh, that's a negative thought, the other thing I would recommend that you do is to breathe in through your nose, hold it for 5 seconds, and then exhale through your mouth. At this point, you're calming down the autonomic nervous system. Now, once you do that, then you can maybe flip that rubber band and restate the negative thought. Or perhaps you are in bed at night. I don't know about you, but I used to, when I go to bed at night, I would think about all the things I forgot to do, all the things that I need to maybe get up and go back and do. And then I would get all this anxiety churned up to then I could not go to sleep at night. Well, you don't have to stay there because one, if you don't get a good night's sleep, it's going to throw your ability to think clearly off. So here's what I would suggest that you do. There's a couple of things. One, this is a QHHT hack. I would, again, breathe in through the nose, hold and exhale. Restate the negative thoughts to a positive thought. And then what I would suggest is begin to envision in your mind how you want your body to look and feel it being healed. Feel it being cleared of all negative energy, of disease, of dis-ease. You just cleanse it. You take it from the head and you envision maybe even light going from the head. It's cleansing energy down through the body, through the feet, out, and imagine it going clear down into the center of the earth. And through that imagining, which is basically what we're doing in a guided meditation under hypnosis. But the difference is you don't have me sitting there guiding you through it. But you can say this to yourself because as you're relaxing, as you're breathing, you're going from an alpha state into a deeper alpha state, into a light theta state, into a deeper theta state, and eventually down to a delta state, which is complete sleep. The next thing I would offer you, and this is absolutely the best hack ever. I learned this through Praying Medic or David Hayes, and he says, in order to get a good night's sleep, and maybe you're waking up at night, and it really does help program the mind, the subconscious mind, to put you to sleep. I say this out loud, and I'll say it 3 times because, hey, me, I'm a Nikola Tesla nut. And that is, God, fill this room with rest and allow me to sleep through the night. God, fill this room with rest and allow me to sleep through the night. Now, when you're saying that out loud, again, you are programming the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind makes an imprint on the genes. The more positive thoughts that you create, the more it evokes positive emotion. The more that you have positive thoughts and positive emotions, it's affecting your programs. And those programs are affecting your genes. So you see why this video that I'm going to share with you is so important to start with. Now, at the end of all my videos, I tell this with all my clients that I work with, is that I challenge you to dissolve clouds. And there's a video that, if it's not linked to this video, you'll find it in my playlist. It's how to dissolve clouds. I don't have any special juju here. You have it too. And my message to you is to let's ignite the superhuman in you by having you see for yourself that you have the power through your thoughts and your emotion to affect matter. And the best way to start you on that journey is to have you watch the cloud video where we go and I dissolve it. You get out there and do it too. Now, once you know and you can see for yourself you're dissolving those clouds, think what else you can do. Any illness that your body holds, no matter what that illness is, if you can do what Dr. Bruce Lipton suggests that you do, and on his website, he has many modalities that he uses to help you heal, or you can reach out to a QHHT practitioner. They can also help you walk through that. You can reach out to a body code, emotion code practitioner, or call me. Reach out to me through sallyknop.com or sallyknop@gmail.com. Just know that there are so many people out there now that can help you begin the journey of healing. But I have a caveat at the end of this too that is so important. If you are sick and you are going to work doing some of the methods that Dr. Bruce lays out, or Dolores Cannon, or me, or anybody else, or even your Reiki healer, make sure that you stay with your healthcare provider. If you are on any medications, it is important to know when you go through this type of energy healing, even if you're doing it yourself, you need to be mindful of how your body is feeling. You don't want to over medicate yourself, but you don't want to be under medicated too. So as your body begins to go through the changes, make sure you reach out to your healthcare provider and say, hey, I need to have my medications checked, and let them go in and evaluate you. Because you know what? I came off my Synthroid and my doctor said, nobody comes off a Synthroid. And I said, well, for over a year, you told me my blood work was fine. And I haven't taken Synthroid for over a year. So if it happens to me, who I was a train wreck, and I had so much anxiety, I was just an absolute mess, to having the most phenomenal life, you can do it too. And I'm not telling you you can do it. I'm actually giving you steps and giving you information so you can start the research yourself, and you can go out there and discover for yourself what is the best modality for you, what is the best approach for you, and if you have questions, reach out. I'm here to help you. Please, if you can, share this video with somebody who this might help. Please give this video a like, and I look forward to working with you. But if not me, find somebody like me. Don't stay stuck. Get out there and ignite the superhuman in you. Take care for now. Bye.